This morning, we heard some examples of the problems associated with the environment and waterborne diseases. So I'm not going to take up more of your time talking about more examples. Instead, I would like to suggest that those examples gave us sufficient evidence to say that we need an integrated approach and we need information from multiple sources, multiple disciplines, to be able to address the problem of waterborne diseases. If you take, just as one example, the case of Vibrio cholerae, it has a very complex life cycle. It interacts with many components of the marine ecosystem. And the general understanding is that they spend about 3 to 4 days, maybe up to a week, inside the human body, but they survive the rest of the time in aquatic environments before the next outbreak can happen months in advance, months later. So you need to know how they survive, how they grow, how they die in the environment. And we can't do that without the help of ecologists, microbiologists, all those other disciplines that we know nothing about, molecular biologists. We heard examples this morning. Now, if you take the example of the mosquito life cycle and diseases associated with mosquitoes, let's not forget that mosquitoes also spend a big part of their life cycle inside the water, under the water, in water. So we can't understand the diseases associated with mosquitoes unless we understand the role of water in their survival, in their growth. So I think it is time for us to break the barriers of thinking about a blue problem or a green problem. We need to bring them together. So what are we trying to do here? Ideally, all this work, all the effort that's going in individually and collectively at this workshop here would lead to reducing the burden of disease in humans. So there are a multiplicity of factors that cause hazard to humans through the environment. They may be natural, they may be catastrophic, they may be related to climate, they may be related to anthropogenic influence. But it also deals with how we deal with the environment, how we deal with ourselves, sanitation conditions, cultural practices. All these affect what happens to the life cycle of the diseases. So what we do and what nature does adds to the environmental burden of the pathogens, creates a hazard. But then how we deal with the environment can either create a barrier between the hazard and risk, or it can enhance the risk. So what we do, sanitation conditions, culture, work and recreation, associated, say, with the aquatic system or with the environment more broadly, will determine the burden of disease, the risk itself. So, my time is up, they say. So we need to deal with all these factors as a collective problem. And if you look at this schematic diagram, you will see that EO has an important role to play, but it is only a component, a part of the solution. We need to understand the entire cycle of the origin of the pathogens to their life cycle and back to ourselves before we can solve the problem. So I think we need to go beyond One Health. Maybe we need a One Planet approach. Thank you very much.